Simple driver fix, helping you understand how your hips work in the golf swing to allow you to hit straight at longer drives. This drill, super simple, practice at home, on the course. Let's get an idea of hip tilt with turn. This is so misunderstood. The ingredients for this drill are 3 golf balls, your 7-iron and your driver. So a huge problem that we see with amateur golfers is how far they tilt and turn their hips on the backswing in then relationship to how far they don't turn and tilt their hips in the through swing, or vice versa. So we patterns where they turn little and not much tilt to a lot to tilt to hit the ball. They're the people who tend to kind of go in here, get stuck, maybe flip releases. Then more common, we see big turn, big tilt, not much turn, much tilt. These people tend to hit down and across, hit horrible slices and crash a little bit. Where what we see from better players, who are generally better at controlling low point, angle of attack and club path, is we tend to actually see with a driver, this is driver not iron, we tend to see, let's say 10 degrees of 12 degrees, 10 degrees of hip tilt on the way back, and then say around 15 on the way through. So some to more. The iron, we actually see an even rock, but I'll do a video on iron. But we want a better relationship between how much you turn and tilt your hips on the backswing to downswing, because this is just going to control path. It's going to control path for you without you having to think of dropping and swinging around your body and all these poor ideas. So I'm going to set the drill up. I'm going to set my driver back towards the back of the target and my iron towards the target on my ball position line. See how the ball position line collides or goes through the 2 clubs. And I've got these 2 clubs, let's say a good size 9 in front of the front of my toes. If you like the information in this video, hit the like button down there, consider subscribing. Also down in the description below, link to my weekly newsletter. If you like the information, you want more in-depth discussions about the golf swing where I go into the detail using gears and other technology, come and join the learning community. All free weekly newsletter down there. So not quite halfway between, but a good size 9 in front of my toes. Now, I'm going to put a ball where the head of the 7-iron is, and I'm now going to put a ball where the head of the driver is. So we've got the ball forwards, not as far forwards as the driver, because obviously these clubs are not the same length. Now from my setup position, I'm going to take the driver and I'm going to place it for backswing, where the butt end of the club lines up with trail pocket. The club's out in front of me. See how the head is pointing back behind me here, so it hasn't got the face up in the sky. And what I'm going to do, by trying to keep the club level with both of my pockets, I'm going to make a backswing where I feel like I cover that ball up on the backswing with the head of the club. This is going to give me a good feeling of turns and tilts. So let's say I'm someone who sways and doesn't tilt much. I'm going to be here. The club is this side of the ball as I look down, nowhere near covering it. If I'm someone who turns a lot with a lot of tilt, so this one, club's basically pointing down here. So I'm going to point my head of my club from my perspective to cover that ball up on the way back. This is giving me a good amount of tilt and turn in the backswing to help we start setting that backswing. Now, once we've got into that backswing, we're covering that ball up. What I'm going to do is just reset that, covering that ball up. From here, I'm just going to flip the club around. Butt end of the club now in line with lead pocket. Face up to the sky, also the toe up to the sky, face out in front of me. What I'm going to do now is try and cover that ball up on the way down with my hips, giving me a little bit more tilt prior to impact, because there'll be a bit more coming in. And because this one is set that little bit further back, it's in there encouraging me to get there quite early to allow me to then really get up and out of my impact position. This is going to give me a good idea of some tilt and turn to a good amount of hip turn and tilt. Now, what you're going to realize when you do this, let's say you're someone who wants to sway a lot, not turn, you're going to be back here with the club. Like it's just literally going to be, if you're one of these players. And then if you're one of these players who gets quite level hips this way, you can find the clubs up in the air. And that's the truth of the shot for most amateurs. Club stuffed up in the air is why they hit down and across, hitting those horrible squirty drives. If we can get your hip tilt a little less to a little more with the driver, you've got a way better chance of dropping that club on a better path and a better angle to then hit up at the ball. Because remember, when it comes to hitting down or up, what we call vertical force, so how much you're pushing out of this lead foot and the time you do it, has a huge influence on where low point happens with your club. So if you're someone who turns a lot with big tilts, and then you stay in that tilt to hit the ball, you're not really using vertical force till well after you've hit the shot, hence you crash. So if we can get you feeling like you're using that vertical force earlier in that downswing with this drill, covering that up, bearing in mind this position would be more hands kind of down near trail leg at this point. So you've still got a bit more of this coming up, this going down to hit the ball, which will get you into that, say, 15 degrees compared to 10 this way. This drill is so simple to use, and I would be doing it in the garden, really trying to feel that the relationship between these two is different and relate them to how you move on the way down or don't. And what you're going to find, hitting straighter, better struck, longer tee shots is going to become so much easier just from the way you're tilting your hips. Now, if you want to find out how to hit your irons better, this video is helping so many golfers. It's going to help you as well.